Welcome to the Light and Dark podcast. This is a space where we learn how to be fully human, embracing all aspects of the human experience, the light and the dark. We'll discuss all things health and wellness, spirituality, and everything in between. And I'll share all the impactful tools and lessons that I've learned on this planet so far. The light is within you. Can you feel it? Welcome back to the Light and Dark podcast. My name is Sam, and I'm so excited. Again, we have an amazing episode ahead of us. We are here with my beautiful friend, Kelsey Lettko, and she is a yoga teacher. She's a hypnotherapist. She's making waves in the leadership and business communities, and she's just really one of those people that I feel is so genuine when it comes to what it is her mission is and just helping people. You can just feel it. And so I am so excited to be here with you today.
Oh, thank you. That was just the kindest intro, and I am so excited to get to have this conversation. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I before we get kind of into what hypnotherapy actually is and what it is that you do, I kind of just wanted to start with what are you most passionate about right now, and what in the space of what you do kind of leads into that?
Man, okay, there's two things that immediately come to my mind. I love this question so much. So, one of the things that I'm really jazzed up about right now is I have started partnering with my sister, who is a CEO of a marketing agency. And we have started doing collaborations called Soul and Strategy. And we just released the dates for our next Soul and Strategy retreat, where we bring about 10 women away for 4 days to do a full day of nervous system rewiring around their success. We remove any blocks. She does a whole day of marketing, and this time we get a whole day to just relax and hang out and be in a pool together in Palm Springs. So I am so excited about that. There's just something so potent when people get to drop in together and really focus on their business and their life. And then I'm also really jazzed about my elevation library that I'm building, just this hypnosis audio library that I'm obsessed with right now and spend far too much time thinking about it. So those are my two biggest things at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. It's so good to be able to see and hear you kind of building in a way that, again, it comes back to this, it's not just helping you, it's helping everybody, but it just gives you so much fuel and so much fire to keep going with it. And I've experienced a couple of your hypnotherapy sessions, but I think I even went and for a little period of time, I was using one of the free audios that you had put on your website. So yeah, I would highly encourage anyone to go check that out. And then, yeah, so how did you even find hypnotherapy? Like, what in your life led you to be like, this is the thing?
Great question. So I call it my other path. My original path was in tech. And then I did my yoga teacher training and plot twisted pretty hard, and started on this whole other life about 10 years ago. And for the first about 6 of those years, in addition to teaching yoga, I found coaching and went to coaching school and was working primarily as a coach. And it was amazing. I loved it. It was just an absolute beautiful first iteration of my business. But after about 6 years, I just wanted to get in there deeper with people. I was tired of talking about limiting beliefs and I wanted to be able to actually do something about it on the spot. Like, I don't want to just talk about this all day. Let's really, rewire this. And around that time, I started seeing work done in collaboration with a coach that I followed on Instagram. Her name is Melissa Tears. She's an amazing hypnotist out of New York, and she was doing it in a way that I just found so beautiful and fast. I think it's the inner New Yorker in me. She's from New York too, and it's conversational, it's quick, it's real-time transformation, and I was just really, really felt so called to what she was doing. So I've done a couple trainings, some not with her, that really just showed me how much I did want to train with her.
Mhm.
And through those trainings with her over the past couple years, it's really transformed how I work with my clients, and my business. We can just get stuff done quickly and gently. And I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I'm already like you to feeling this pull and this craving towards like a one-on-one session with you because it's just I think in this day and age, like we talked about, there's just a world of different ways in which you can, quote unquote heal, right? And I think it's so, so important. And it's like you could spend a lifetime trying to get over just that one block. And so I love that
Totally.
you're kind of using this practical, like, let's get through it quick because we want to elevate and evolve into the beings that we're meant to be and then
Right.
see what's on the other side of that.
Yes, yes. And I think it's a wild time to be alive for many reasons. I think one of the beautiful parts of being alive right now are just how many healing modalities we have available to us. There's so many different things that are available that are becoming more normalized that weren't around even just, I mean, they were, but they weren't as available even just, 10 years ago. So it's so beautiful in that sense. And to your point, like you could spend your whole life stuck in the healing trap. And I personally don't believe we are ever fully healed, whatever that even means. But I love working with hypno with those who are ready to like really see what life looks and feels like on the other side of that block because we have changeable brains. We have the technology to change our brains through this toolkit. And for those who are ready to, maybe continue the healing and move forward, that's really where I like to play with people.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating. I think one of the things that got me to kind of understand a little bit more about hypnotherapy and even just like being human, right, is that we have all these different brain waves that we get to like play in. And it's not that we're in one all the time, right? We fluctuate all the time.
Yes.
And when you can use those or utilize those, I should say, in a more helpful, coherent way, then you can start to work through things like you said, quicker and more sustainably so we can just like relax into who we are.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, could you talk a little bit about like maybe hypnotherapy about what it is, but and how it correlates to the brain waves and
Totally. So I think of hypnosis as a very vast toolkit that essentially helps you get to know more of who you really are and helps you access more of who you really are. So some folks still hold the belief that it's like, ooh, I'm gonna rave a stopwatch in front of your face and like you're getting sleepy and you'll be like totally, snoring. That is not what this is, at least not what how I use it. It's really just to your point, using a natural state that the brain goes in and out of all the time, called a theta state. Reiki is actually a really beautiful way to guide people into a theta state. So I have lots of ideas about bringing Reiki and hypno together. We'll talk about that. Um, but when the brain is in a theta state, we have a lot more of basically a direct line of access to the subconscious mind. And that is where 95 to 98% of the mind lives, is in the subconscious mind. So again, it's just knowing how to access all of who you actually are. And I think part of what makes hypnosis so powerful is that the brain does not know what's real and what's imagined. So it fires the same way when you're imagining something as it does as if it's actually happening. So we can basically rewire who we are by using our imagination. And when you do that, when the brain is in a theta state, it basically just ups the power on that tenfold. I mean, it's so powerful what can happen. So we're really just using our natural ways that the brain makes change to become who we want to be, how we want to be showing up in different situations, how we want to experience life moment to moment through the use of imagination, through, gosh, there's so many techniques to use, but I'll pause there for now. It's learning how to work with more of who you actually are.
yeah, it's like it's kind of sparking in me that how many teachers, especially now, but over the millennia, have really been talking about this
Oh, yeah.
combination between thinking, feeling, being, right, and manifestation and bringing things into your life.
Yes.
How do you see that kind of correlating with what you're doing? Because Joe Dispenza and a lot of other people that are kind of big in the space talk a lot about the brainwaves and getting into that theta, really imagining, using this
Yeah.
imagination as a way to like bring your reality in. Is that something that you kind of work with or?
Yes, it is something that I work with. I feel that everyone's kind of saying some version of the same thing, which I love. I love hypno because no matter what door you're walking through, whether you're walking through a hardcore neuroscience, neuroplasticity door, you're walking through a la Abraham Hicks, raising your vibration door, you're walking through Joe Dispenza, manifestation, it all comes back to the same place, which is you have a choice in your reality because you have a changeable brain.
Mhm.
And all of the what all of these people are essentially saying is how can we use the fact that our brains are changeable to rewire from the core of who we are the reality that we see and experience because we're all experiencing a different reality based off of how our brains are wired. And yeah, so to answer your question more directly, I tend to stay, I love my personal practice of manifestation. I love it. I'm a pretty good manifester. Probably should be if I'm a hypnotherapist. But for my clients, I tend to stay more in the lane of subconscious reprogramming and getting to witness the fun manifestation benefits that that holds because there are so many people who are going hardcore on the manifestation route. I'm not a specialist, and hypno and manifestation are besties.
Yeah, I think I was just curious about it because it's something that I've been kind of realizing and talking more and more about when it comes to the body and the fascia and everything that I've been teaching is like understanding when you have these beliefs that are rooted in the body, in the nervous system, and then you allow that to release, then things are just going to start naturally coming your way. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily about like you have to envision or manifest a specific thing. You can if that's for your highest good and that's like what you want. But I just think that there's a cool correlation between
Yes.
rewiring, reprogramming, and just like watching it come in after you're like a
Yes.
new being, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And again, it's like, which door do you want to walk through? The one that I like to walk through in this conversation is that like calls to like. So if you are rewiring that stuff, clearing that stuff, and embodying a new energy frequency, the stuff that matches that is just going to flow on in. So, yes, I love that idea. And there's so much to this conversation.
I know I'm like wanting to go in 30 different directions, but I guess before I veer off too much, is there like because you're a yoga teacher and it's something that you have taught and really embodied in yourself for a long time, do you see that there is a deeper connection between the brain and the body, or how does that feel
Oh,
or live in you?
I think that the body is such a beautiful access point to the subconscious mind because I mean, it is the subconscious mind. What we are feeling into when we like really tune into the body, like so much of that information somatically is what we are using to clue us in to what's going on in the unconscious. So to me, I don't even really see a difference. I think the body is the brain is the body. I
Yeah.
mean, they are so closely connected that I don't even think that, at least for the work that I do, I don't even think that it's worth completely separating them. When it comes to yoga, I mean, it's such a cool playground for people to get curious about the body and therefore learn more about the brain. Like what comes up when you're in a really challenging pose, there are all your unconscious beliefs about sitting with challenge. So it's such a cool access point to learning more about what is actually going on in the unconscious mind, I think. And on the other side, like to see someone bust through that growth edge of a pose or get their crow for the first time, it's like you can see those unconscious beliefs about what they're capable of completely shatter. And it's just, I just think that the two are so supportive, hypno, brain change, and yoga together.
Yeah, it's so cool to be able to witness that, right? You're just like you have the physical version of it right there in front of you with your students, with your
Yes.
own practice, right? And then you're like, I know what's happening in there, and then I'm sure I don't know if you've actually experienced one of your clients as also a yoga student, because I got to see you kind of be able to cross promote in a way that was really coherent and beautiful. I really only ask because that's exactly how I view it. So it's just like it's not separate, but it's cool to understand it in a deeper and maybe even different capacity. So, what are some of the things that people come to you within the questions that they have? Is it generally more about the emotional side of things? Is it more about this place that they're stuck in life? Is it more about what they want to manifest? Like, what are the most common things that people want to grow or expand or heal within their life?
Yeah. So many different things. I mean, people come to me because they want something to feel different. And that can take a lot of different shapes and forms. When I was first starting out as a hypnotist, I was really open to working with, I still am open, but I really worked with so many different types of changes, whether it be sleep or phobias, like all the kind of like hardcore hypno-y stuff because I think it's where my heart loves to be. Now I work primarily with solo and entrepreneurs who know that their personal blocks are directly correlated to the success of their business. And I'm curious to hear how you feel about this now that you've started this path and you've been on iterations of this path for a long time, but the entrepreneurial journey personally, I think is one of the most spiritual journeys that you can go on. It is the best personal development journey you can go on because all of your stuff, whether it be financial blocks, whether it be worthiness wounds, confidence blocks, self-trust, you name it, chances are you're gonna bump up against it. So now primarily I work with folks who are along that journey who are really doing the brave, beautiful work of stepping off of the more traditional 9 to 5. And not that that's not brave and beautiful, that's its own type of bravery and beauty in itself. But this other path of really saying yes to that thing that lights them up so much that they are like, wow, now I actually have to make income off this thing. I have to pay my bills, I have to feed my family from this thing. And I work with a lot of women, but not primarily. I work with an awesome crew of men too, and all genders. But I love working with people on that path because the impact of the shifts that we make trickle out in such cool ways, like from them being able to launch their thing, to naming that rate, to bring in the money that they want to make, to be able to, take over the financial power in their family, to be able to provide, like, it feels so cool to me, like really taking the power back. And so many different ways, shapes, and forms, not to mention just allowing people to fully unleash their joy and passion in the world by removing all those old blocks that we learn about, can we make money doing that? Is it safe to be seen being the type of person who does that? All that stuff comes up.
Yeah.
So that was a longer answer, but right now that's my kind of my main practice is working with folks on that journey who want to get to that next level of holistic success, so personal and professional, and know that their own blocks are the ones that need to go in order to elevate into that.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, I think you answered the question beautifully because it's like we could go over like all the things in which people are dealing with, but it's like for me the message that's been coming up so strongly as I go further into that entrepreneurial path is developing your niche. And that
Mhm.
really comes with sitting with what do I want and how do I want to impact the world. And
Yeah,
when you can kind of work with those two things, you kind of understand who it's not who can I help, it's who do I really want to. And I think it just comes through so much more when you get to answer that question. So I love that you named the entrepreneurial path because it's just like so relevant. And like you said, it just brings up so much around
yeah,
like what your view of success is, and then how far is that view from like where you are right now?
right.
What is even what's in the way? And so yeah, when you get to clear some of that out, it can be really deep work. But then
Yes.
you see that spark of light come in that's just like, whoa, I got to that next level. And
Yes, yes. Well, first of all, thank you for that reflection on the niche. I honestly, I've been in this business going on 8 years, and it's taken me that long to finally give myself permission to be like, no, I actually really want to focus on these people because there is a bit of a shit there of like, well, I have these tools. I love these tools. I want everybody and anybody to have access to them. And at the end of the day, we only have so many hours in the day.
yeah.
Like, yeah, to your point, how do you want to be serving the world? Who do you want to be serving? And to me, I think this niche is so fun because there aren't other structures. There isn't anybody else telling you, here's the ceiling, here's the structure of how you work, here's what success looks like, here's what your salary is, here's how you have to make that salary. Like you're really rewriting the rules for yourself, which I love, rewriting my own rules. So I think that's why it makes sense. I like to play in that space.
Yeah, and then when you get to do, like I said, you show up so much more, and then you're
Yes.
like doing the world a service in which you came here to be you to help those people, and then that
Right.
ripples out into all those people are actually going to be doing that much more for the whole collective. And I don't know that you could have tapped into that unless you really honed in. Oh, that was the thing that I was supposed to do. Thank you.
Yes.
But
Yes, it's so real. What has that been like for you, if I may ask, in your kind of conversations with yourself around who do you want to be serving? How do you want to be
yeah,
serving?
yeah, I keep because I'm in this stage of like I've kind of launched, but at the same time, it's being refined, and so I'm in this bit of a vortex around like planning and reshaping and developing like what it is at the core and who do I want to help. And the thing that keeps coming up for me is like I want to help me.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I mean, I'm saying that, and it's like I will like all the people that I've named, all the ways in which I think I could be bestly of service is like those people are me.
Yeah,
And it's just so funny when you like you write it all down, you get it all out, and you're just like, oh, okay, like
right.
and then you're like, but how am I qualified to actually do that if I'm still actively going through it? And so I think it keeps coming back to this concept of building the people up that are just below you, like the where
Mhm.
you came from, where like everything that you just experienced within the last 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years, or whatever. Like those are the people that I think are going to resonate so much stronger with you because
Totally.
it just comes out. But I keep to answer your question, I keep wrestling with this like I want to help people that are like aware and that actually want to help themselves. And I'm struggling to use the term spiritually aware, but at the same time, I want there to be some level of you understand that there is something bigger than you that's happening here and that you and your body are not separate from it.
Right.
And I think there's a world of people that could really benefit from what I've learned and,
Yeah.
like them having all these shoulder issues and gut issues and, all kinds of different ailments within the body that I think I could easily help them work through. But when they're at a level when they understand that there's a deeper meaning behind it,
Yes.
I think we can go so much quicker and be able to see like the shifts happen a lot faster, like you said. And then I'm going to be more fulfilled because everyone's on the same page. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I've been wrestling with.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. I mean, it sounds like I like totally resonate with wanting to help, like you, wanting to help me. I joke that I built the whole Elevated Collective and my whole hypno library because I wanted it.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I like the quote by Elizabeth Gilbert. She shares in Big Magic. She's like, create for you, create what brings you joy. And like, chances are other people are going to be into it too. So I lean into that pretty liberally.
That book keeps coming up. Like people keep mentioning it to me. I'm just like, okay, maybe I'll read it. Like maybe it's finally time, but
It's worth a skim, worth a skim.
yeah. So random thought, it came to me earlier, but the last time that I was at one of your, I'm not sure if you're doing these anymore, but the hypnotherapy circles where you get to bring
Yeah.
everybody together. And if you are, I highly encourage anyone to go check it out because you get to like bring in the collective energy and weave in this like very curated story. And so it's amazing. But one of the things that you did last time was the EFT tapping.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're still working with this, but one of the last guests that I had on the show, one of my good friends, he was talking all about EFT tapping and led us through a practice.
Wow.
And it was really, really cool to be able to like, it was only the second time. So the first time was with you, and the second time was just like last week. And
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, and we talked a lot about the nervous system, but I think there's a lot of crossover. Is there anything that you want to share about the nervous system or how you use different tools in conjunction with your hypnotherapy or
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to need to listen to that episode because I'm always interested in learning more about the modalities that I use. Sometimes I feel like I use just like a little bit of this. Like I use like an appetizer platter, if you will, of regulation techniques. So always love to learn more, kind of deep diving into it. But what I love about my training with Melissa is it's a very integrative training. At the end of the day, with hypno, so much of what we're doing is just teaching your nervous system to feel either safe or to feel empowered. As a caveat, I'm not interested in regulation only meaning calm. Like regulation can also mean super expanded, super empowered. I know that that's such a buzzword right now, and I just like to make that caveat. But there's so many tools to regulate the nervous system, or basically just to bring you back into more access to more of your brain power.
Mm,
And that tapping is one of my favorite ones. It's a really, really effective one. Even just a super short little round of tapping is enough a lot of times just to kind of drop down, regulate, come back into more of a restful state. And when we're in that state, we quite literally have more access to our brains because our blood is flowing to the brain more than, out when we're being metaphorically chased by a lion if we're in fight or flight. So just with a little bit of tapping, I love using that tool. That's a big one. Kind of, I use it as kind of like a roadblock in my toolkit.
mhm,
So if we're thinking about, okay, the brain, when it gets triggered by this situation, it used to go down this path of maybe anxiety or whatever. We want to put up a roadblock and say, hey, actually, now we go here and we feel really, really good. Tapping is one of those roadblocks that we can use, but there's so many that are also really effective. The breath is a really powerful one to use. I'm dabbling with bringing more Reiki into my session. So, bringing a little Reiki moment is a nice roadblock. There's bilateral stimulation where you literally just pass something back and forth. And people are like, are you kidding? This is so stupidly easy. And it's
yeah.
true, but I've seen it stop a panic attack. There's so much that we can do that isn't super fancy, but really can put up that roadblock. So then you have choice
Mm.
of, well, where do I want my brain to go here? And yeah, those techniques are hugely powerful.
Yeah, I love being able to meet practitioners that are not just glued to one thing, which I think is just so beautiful because we live in a time where there's so much available. It's like why fixate on one thing when, or maybe, master the one thing and then utilize your tools, your
Totally.
toolbox. And I think it's just kind of like the Western system of like the doctors, everyone's specialized in that one thing and they don't actually communicate with anybody else who's working on other parts of the body or other systems. So I
Right.
just love like bringing in these different tools because you're right, like Reiki and the EFT tapping and anything could get people out of their mind essentially.
Yeah.
And I struggled with this so much when I first started to explore all these different modalities. It was just like I would be sitting in some sort of journey or experience or whatever, and I would just be like racing my head back and forth the whole time. And I think because I'm a bit of a, if you want to use the word empath, like I
Mhm.
am a bit of a sponge sometimes. So other people, if I'm in a group session, sometimes I can absorb other people's energy and I'm just not able to focus on my own self, my own body. But when you invite these tools to just come back home for a minute, come back to the heart, back to the body, then the work that you do can be so much more powerful.
Yes. Yes. And it's really amazing. I mean, the information, if you will, the wisdom, it's right there. Like, even for some folks who come in to hypno with a lot of walls up, with a lot of doubts, a lot of skepticism. And, at this point, people are paying me. So I'm not convincing anybody to believe in hypno. Like, they're choosing to put themselves in this
Yeah.
situation. That doesn't mean that there's not doubt and some resistance. But what's so cool is that even just with a deep breath in, double the length of the exhale, drop someone's awareness into their heart space. From there, if I ask a question, the wisdom that comes forth, it's like it's right there. And it doesn't take that much work to drop into more of what you actually think, more of who you actually are. So, to your point, yeah, just a quick little extra breath, a quick little round of tapping, whatever it is, even just moving your body, a little dry bath, whatever, to get you back into your center. I mean, boom, there's all the information.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's again one of those things that I'm really, really passionate about teaching is that your body does hold the answers and it can
Mhm.
reveal itself. And so I'm just so fascinated by all the ways in which healers are working with it in a place that says, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to reveal to you what is already your truth, what is already inside. And I think with the small interactions that I've had with hypnotherapy, that's been the premise of it is like, we're just gonna open you up enough to see kind of what's inside, and then you, as the client, if you will, gets
Mhm.
to the direct experience of
Yeah.
seeing that in real time.
What I love what you just said, and it made me think about one of the reasons why I love hypno so much is I think you said like it's not about making your body wrong. And the assumption when anyone is coming to me, it's never that something is wrong with you. It's never that there's something wrong with your body. It's never that there's something wrong with your brain. It's just, oh, there's a pattern here. And your
Mm.
brain's job is to make patterns. Is this pattern helping you or not? If it's not, we have all of the tools to shift that pattern and rewire it. So I think that's part of why I love being a hypnotist so much is that there's never an assumption of like, oh, something's really wrong with this person. It's like, oh, wow, this person has a highly adaptive brain that made a really strong pattern. Cool. Let's work with that. Which is just a kind of a different way of a different core assumption, I think, that I want my clients to know when they're coming into a space. It's not like even I think the word client versus patient or anything like that. It's like you have a really beautiful, amazing brain that's worked really hard to keep you safe and adopted these patterns to do so. And now, cool, we have even better tools to keep yourself safe in an authentic way. Let's figure out what those are. So I
Yeah.
loved just what you said. There's nothing wrong. It's just how can we learn more and then make changes that you want to make.
So practically, can you walk me through what that kind of looks like when I imagine there's probably a good bit that you can get done in one session, but I'm sure, especially when you're working with the entrepreneurs, right, and the people that you really
Totally.
love working with, you're going to see them throughout a certain period of time. And then do they get to understand like what's shifted in between the time? Or I'm just like making this up, but this is what I kind of
Totally.
envision.
You're doing great. Yeah. Okay, let's pretend. Can we pretend for a minute?
Sure.
Okay, let's pretend you're my client. And you're like, okay, I really want to shift this thing because I noticed myself feel really, I don't know, small, scared, fearful, not taking action, fill in the blank. And I gotta shift that. So what we would do, what's really cool about hypno is that like obviously, most likely, this is stemming from something from your childhood because that's when the subconscious mind was formed. But what's beautiful is that the subconscious mind is not linear. So we don't have to go back to the first time this thing ever happened when you were three. Like we could, we certainly don't have to. We can take the ins that are presenting via when was the last time that you experienced that? And by feeling into that and kind of getting it, walking through that door, oh, cool, what was happening? What was going on there? By lighting up that whole experience in the brain, we have an in. And through that moment, we can do it right now if you want to, but from that moment, we can kind of live time rewire, put up a roadblock, clear what had been triggered in the brain, and start to lay a new foundation through imagination, through feeling into it, and then ultimately through repetition. So the client is going to feel a shift immediately.
Hmm.
But the real magic is when the client uses the tools that you learn in session out in the wild. So you're really taking the reins on your own transformation.
And when you say using the tools, are they kind of like referring back to that experience in their mind of like what happened at the last time when you kind of rewired the thing, and then a new situation presents itself, and you're like, wait, 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 I don't have to like do the thing that I would before, or is it more like, oh, something's different, and I didn't really catch it until like I didn't overreact in that situation, or both, I guess.
Yes, great question. Both. The one is so I teach all of my clients self-hypnosis, which is basically mental rehearsal with pizzazz, if you will, a little more intentional type of mental rehearsal, as well as we introduce a whole bunch of tools that basically just make again, like working with your brain easier.
Hmm.
So it can be connecting you to some clients really resonate with your future self. And suddenly, if you have a direct line of access to your future self who's been there, done that, knows exactly what to do because they're crushing it right now, and you can tune into that version of you and get that wisdom, like that's a really cool resource. So we basically are building up a whole bunch of different resource states. So that's one part of the toolkit, as well as teaching you a whole bunch of nervous system regulation. So let's say we're working on confidence speaking up.
Hmm.
You're in a meeting, you really want to speak up. You might notice, wow, I actually feel pretty good right now, and kind of self cheerlead and like speak up and everything's great. Amazing. Or you might realize, like, okay, now is the moment. Like, I'm in the trigger.
Hmm.
I am activated right now. And instead of this having to just be the way that it is, I can support myself right now. I can, under the table where nobody can see me, do a little bilateral stimulation. I can do a little tapping on alternate thighs. I can take a deep breath in, double length of the exhale, literally shift my body into a confident position, and then speak up. So
Hmm.
it, it's all of the above.
So cool. I just feel
It's so
like, yeah, it's like all the things that I'm learning, like kind of mishmashed into, not mishmashed, but like combined into one in this one like beautiful way in which like you have the tools, you have the resources. I think that's one, it's been one of the biggest themes for me in my life is like knowing that I have the resources to create the life that I want. And that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of people, but it's like I think as somebody who's really struggled with this, as a lot of entrepreneurs have, right? You probably grew up in a way where you didn't really have a lot and you were taught that this is how it was. And then you realize when you grow up that you get to choose something different, but your body is still like stuck in the old way.
right.
And so when you think of resources, you just think, well, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough. I'm not in the situation. And then you get caught in that forever. But when you look at the energy of what you are and who you are, and then the body and all the resources that is, from all the cells to everything else that's happening, like there's so much that you can tap into. It's just like teaching you how to do it.
There's so much. There's so much available to us. And to your point around, well, what are we taught? What are we shown success looks like? I uncovered a massive a block for myself just a couple months ago. I was thinking, I was bumping up against the ceiling around success and thinking that I was someone who could have the type of holistic success that I want. So to me, again, that's personal and professional and who I get to be in the world.
Yeah.
And I realized that when I actually peeked behind the unconscious curtain, metaphorically, at what was popping up for me around success, it was an image of a man in a suit who went to work in New York City because I was a kid in New Jersey. And I was from a town where most of the dads, because it was the 90s and that was more common in that town, the men would go to work in the city. So did my dad. I have like the most supportive parents on the planet. I am cheerleaded in my life. I'm very grateful to be able to say that. And still, there was a block, not because of any direct messaging, but just what I picked up on around who a successful person looked like. And it certainly was not me. I'm not a man in a suit who goes to New York every day. So
Yeah.
when I shifted that and I started interjecting imagined versions of people like me, of women first and foremost, who are doing a whole bunch of things that bring them a lot of joy, who are also able to be mothers if they so choose to be in the way that they want to be resourced, and really made those edits for myself, then I was like, oh my God, I'm actually crushing it right now. Like I'm so much closer to my version of success than I had thought when an unconscious mental image was there. So there's so much to be said too for just like peeking behind that curtain and noticing, well, what are those unconscious beliefs around success, around what it should look like? And how can I just like rearrange that without changing anything else in my life to recognize that maybe we're so much closer to it than we thought, or there's so much
Mhm.
more available to us than we thought. So it was a fun one to rewire and like so easy at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I was just thinking, I was like, oh, I should ask her, like, what's the biggest win that you've had within your own like
Ooh.
experience with hypnotherapy? But that seems like a pretty great example of like, no, like I get to actively notice where I'm at and then also notice where I thought that I should be in relation to this thing that actually was just a program in the first place. And
Totally.
yeah, it's
Totally.
so cool.
It's very fun. It's very fun. I have an abundance elevation. Sometimes in my community, I do 4 week focused journeys, and one was on abundance. And I create them all and I just kind of like channel it, and who knows what's going to come out. Usually it ends up being all right. But then when I listen to it, it's a whole different experience. So I do everything that I put out in my community with my community members. And within, I don't know, maybe 2 days of doing week one, I made an extra $10,000 like out of nowhere. And I was like, holy shit, this stuff really works. So it's so fun to get to experience the benefits of this work from a client perspective because, like I know this, it's my whole career, but it really does work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like that's all that matters.
Yeah, it works. Gets the job done.
Yeah, if it didn't work, then like, okay, let's scrap all this and start
Yeah,
over. But like
next.
seeing it and feeling it and like, oh, whoa, this is like I'm moving, like, and
Yeah.
yes, that's so cool. You said your online community and
Yeah.
or right, it's all online. Is that
Yes.
yeah. What does that look like? Is like how did you go about building it? Is this just like a group of women that you've kind of cultivated for throughout your practice, or what does it look and feel like?
I love it so much. It's called the Elevated Collective, and it started, the seeds of it started a couple years ago. I am from tech early in my career, and even while I was building up my coaching business, I still worked part-time in tech. So I still had every Monday, we would have a Monday stand-up meeting. It was at 10 a.m. on Mondays, and I just got really into that ritual. And then COVID happened, and I was not with that company anymore. I was fully in on my business, and I was like, I am so bored and so lonely. So I just opened it up to other solopreneurs who I also knew were home alone working to come join me for this Monday 10 a.m. meeting.
Mm.
And it just turned into this beautiful supportive community that like felt like coworkers, and we were just in it together. And a couple years, I think about 3 years into that is when I did a big rebrand and my business became Elevated You. And I wanted more people in there, and I wanted it to be way more focused on hypnosis. So I wove that 10 a.m. meeting into just one tiny little part of the Elevated Collective. So that still is a thing. You can still, all community members can join at 10 a.m. every week to align your heart, your mind, your soul with your business goals, you don't have to have a business, just with your personal goals for the week. We do some hypno to really lock it in, to gather wisdom for the week and just connect. And it's one of my favorite weekly rituals. So it started with that, but now what the community really is I want to give as many humans as possible the tools to rewire their own brains and have choice in their experience moment to moment at their fingertips. So I host my community on the platform called Circle. It has a great app, so you can have
Cool.
it on your phone too. And the biggest thing is my elevation library. So I have a library, I think there's almost 50 in there now, of hypno audio recordings on so many different topics. I have a little member podcast in there. I've got lots of self-study courses. And then I also have live events for folks who want to really gather in community. So that Monday call, but also a monthly group hypno and a hypno hot seat. So it's an opportunity for people to get one-on-one rapid transformation once a month as well.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it sounds incredible. It sounds like a world of tools, and yet at the same time, this aspect of togetherness, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
And it's exactly what I'm building, but just in a different framework. So
Totally.
yeah, this is kind of like
Totally.
I've been locked in on this idea of like, oh, okay, we like the more that we come together and do this, the more that we have a space where all the things that you need are in one place. It's just
Yes.
like, yeah, rapid shifts. So I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you. And all genders are welcome. It's only women at the moment. I think my branding is a little self-selecting perhaps, but all genders are welcome in the Elevated
I
Collective.
mean, to be fair, it's like anytime I do a workshop or an event or like whatever, I like look and there's a group of, I don't know, 26 women and there might be like one guy in the crowd and I'm just like, okay, cool. I mean, it's been like this for years. I have a sister and I have like I don't know, like 14 girl cousins, all my mom's side. There was one guy and he's gay and he like moved away pretty quick when he got old and or got
Oh,
older. And so I've like been the only male in my entire
yeah.
family for my whole life. So, you know,
You're
I'm
holding
used
it
to
down.
it.
But we need, it's people, this comes up a lot. Like, do you only work with women? And the answer is a hard no. Like, I think that men need this work so deeply. So I'm so excited that you are creating more spaces for any gender, whatever genders you're choosing to work with, hopefully men too,
Yeah, it's
to be
everyone.
able to, everyone to be able to access this work because, yeah, I mean, so magic happens in all of my sessions, but there's something really special about the work going down with my male clients right now.
Mm.
And I think that it's just less baked into society to have access. It's normalized. So all of my stuff is always open to men too. And I am just a big cheerleader of other men doing this work to create more spaces. So great job.
Yeah, well, I'm intrigued to say the least, and it's so cool to be able to kind of get a sneak peek around what you've created and how it's gone from where it started to where it is now, right? And you've really stepped into this aspect of business and leadership. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you was what does leadership mean to you and why do you feel so passionate about stepping into it or kind of asserting yourself and bringing your impact to that space?
Wow, it's so cool to hear you say that and to have that question be asked. My self-concept isn't as much of like, I am a leader in this space, you know?
But you
I
are.
think, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe that's my own mental block. I should look at that later. But yeah, as you say that, what comes up for me, I think it choice is one of my biggest values. I think that when we can recognize the choice that we have in a situation, it's an access point to so much freedom, to so much more authenticity, to so much more ability to say, this is for me, this is not for me. I love choice. So I
Mhm.
think that is why I love hypno so much. And I love getting to share it so much, which I think I just have not shut up about it for long enough that it's guided me into a leader in this space,
Yeah.
perhaps because I'm really passionate about people having choice in their experience of life and deeply passionate about getting to help people recognize how much power is within them and that they're literal magic. It is so beautiful to witness someone wake up to the fact that they can make this happen. There's literally nobody stopping you but you. And yes, there's systemic stuff. And yes, there's nuance to this conversation and asterisks, asterisks, asterisks. And we can make some cool shit happen in our lives and in the world if we update our subconscious programming.
Yeah.
So I think, that's really it. My own journey has been one of unlearning everything that made me think I had to be this person and being like, oh my God, life gets to be like this, which comes with its own hardship, of course, and so much beauty. And I think I'm so passionate about it. I quite literally can't shut up about it. And that is why I think I have decided to rewire my own stuff and give myself permission to be a leader in this space because I really want people to know about it.
Yeah. It's so beautiful to see it in real time, but also like, and I could share a few things, but in my own reflection, what I've been noticing is so I work with, I work with the fascia, right? And one of the things that we talk about all the time is fascial restriction. And so I'm constantly, what's coming out of me all the time is work through this restriction that you have. And I've been doing this for, I don't know, months, maybe even getting closer to a year now. And it doesn't seem like that long of a period of time, but I'm sure that it's been like a short but long journey. The last year has been crazy. But anyways, getting to what I'm saying is I had this realization the other day that when we talk about restriction in the body, we talk about restriction in life. And
Yeah.
so I kind of had this question emerge of like, who restricted you? What restricted you from
Yes.
being the version of yourself that you came here to be? From who said, no, you can't do that. This is not how we do it that way. And so it was like the idea of restriction living in your shoulder is like, oh, where is that being? restricted in your life. Like, how are you operating?
Yes. And to
Yeah,
take it even further, my next question is always, and who is it serving? And it's usually not serving you to be restricted, to be placing ceilings on yourself. It is certainly not serving your soul's purpose, which
yeah,
is to be here in this lifetime. So
yeah.
I think, yeah, exactly. There's just so much freedom that comes from sitting with those restrictions and busting them open at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that I learned from you or that always sticks with me is like, for people who don't know, I was in a yoga teacher training here in Santa Cruz and Kelsey got to come speak about embodied business. And it was just like this piece of the yoga teacher training that was kind of perfectly dropped in at the right moment, both in the training, but also just for where I was at in life. And I was just starting to build a website and all these things were happening where it was like I had all my Reiki stuff that was really starting to kind of kick off and go, and then I was becoming a yoga teacher. And you just brought this energy of, I don't believe that the universe gave you these desires. And then we're just like, nope, sorry, you don't get to, like, it's just a fairy tale. And I always think about that because it gave me this framework of, oh, I can be in this holistic industry, right? And I can still have it be a business and let
Yes.
it serve me. And I can do both. And it doesn't have to be this thing of business is evil, money is evil, all these people that are successful are taking advantage of people, like all that can just fly out the window and then I can step into who I am and
Yeah.
actually do something that makes an impact. So it was really cool to get that reframe from you, even in just like a whatever it was, like an hour and a half. And so,
That's so cool to hear. So cool to hear. That talk that I feel so privileged to get to give that, it either hits or it doesn't. So I'm so glad to hear that it met you in that moment because yeah, I think when you are hungry for it and you are no, I want this. Like I want this lifestyle. I want to be able to say yes to this. And then suddenly I feel like it's full permission slip to go for it and write your own rules around it. It's like, look how much beauty you've created in such a short time. You are creating something so beautiful and so powerful, and it gets to serve you too. We are no longer the poor martyred healers. I don't
mm-mm,
believe in that archetype anymore.
no.
So you get to do beautiful things in the world and pay your bills.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. And hopefully we move from surviving to thriving, right? That's the goal.
Yes.
And you were talking about earlier with the work and you saw the $10,000 come in out of nowhere. You're just like, oh, okay, this is not only possible, I can go as far as I want to with this, and the sky's
Yeah.
the limit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what was fun about that example too is when I looked at where the money came from, I could put a face to every single dollar and I could see A, the beautiful souls who gave it to me, and B, because of them giving that to me, the impact, like I could see, it's just like they gave it to me, I'm gonna give it to them. This is gonna go over there. People are gonna, it's just like it's all in the pot and we're just it's an endless pot that has enough for everybody. But yeah, exactly. It was like, oh, I made like that happen with 10K. Like, what should I try next? Kind of like gamifying it with the universe a little bit, because we can.
Hmm. Yeah, and to have that real tangible, not only did I benefit from this, but so did everybody. Like connecting that to your patients, right? Or clients. Like I don't know what word we decided on earlier, but I mean being able to really see and feel like, oh, this is good work that we're both doing together, and then like look at the result of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets to be fun, gets to be easeful.
Well, when it comes to people wanting to go a little bit deeper with you, discover where they can find your offerings and what can they work with in their own life. I mean, what does that look like? How do they find you? All the things. Let us
All
know.
the things. Well, come play, come say hello. My business Instagram is at elevated.u.method or Kelsey Lettko, either one. And come visit the Elevated Collective. I think that's a beautiful first place to start. This is a nice moment for this conversation. I'm just rolling out an audio only membership for
Hmm.
those who can't come to live events. So it's, if you want that whole library and all the recorded stuff in your pocket, there's now a space for that too. I also have a new quiz, which I'm really excited about, Sam. I've worked so hard on this quiz. I'll share it with you if you want to put it in the episode notes. But it is, what is your subconscious success block? And when you take this quiz, it asks you some questions. It identifies one of the four most popular blocks that I see, and it gives you an elevation right away to rewire that along with some journal prompts. It's super fun. So if you just
Cool.
want to dabble and you want to try out an elevation specifically tied to something that you're working with, then take that quiz. It's a really, really good place to start, and you'll get to do some rewiring right away.
So cool. Well, I have a group of people that I've been working with on more of a business aspect as far as what we teach with, within the fascia maneuvers. And so I'm definitely going to recommend you to be able to help and see what we can kind of create together when it comes to this like leadership, entrepreneur
Yes.
aspect, because there's just so much that people are ready for, and yet there's something that is kind of that gets in the way. So it would be really, really cool to see some collaborations happen in the future. And
Love it. Sign me up. Absolutely.
awesome. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom and your light with us. Is there anything that you want to share before we close?
Well, first, thank you for having me. This was so much fun to get to have this conversation. I'm so excited for what you are creating and what you are building. And aside from that, just the reminder that you literally can do whatever you want. That if there's a block, turn it into a desire, follow that desire, and create whatever you want in this life. We get to do that. I firmly believe that. And if you need support along the way, then come say hey, and I got you. But I think I'll leave it at that.
I love it. I love it. You get to do whatever you want and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I hope everybody got a lot out of this and have a beautiful week. Have a great start of the month, and we will see you very soon.